Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. I'm Mike, and today we're going to be continuing the end of the year videos. And today, I wanted to go over my Letterboxd stats for the year of 2024. So let's get into this. So if you don't know what Letterboxd is, basically it's a website or app that you can use that's basically like social media for film reviews, where you can log and rate your favorite films. And as for me, I use it as my main source of reviewing films. So, like every time I watch a movie, I ended up reviewing and logging it on Letterboxd, and it's just a really fun, easy way to engage with an audience of filmmakers, film fans, and whatnot. And if you sign up for one of the paid memberships, that's like between 20 is like $20 a year is like the lowest one, and then $50 or something like that is like the highest one. You can get the Letterboxd Pro stats, which I think are really fun little things to look at every year. So I decided it would be a cool idea to look at my stats for the year. So kicking things off here, we have 2024 Mike's year to date, and we have my 2024 list. We have my top 20 films on here. So Longlegs was my number one, which it was my number one for the longest time this year. And then number two, Honora, Heretic, Furiosa, Late Night with the Devil, Abigail, The Wild Robot, Civil War, Terrifier 3, Alien Romulus, Transformers 1, Deadpool and Wolverine, Speak No Evil, Bad Boys Ride or Die, Challengers, Sonic 3, Dune Part 2, Y2K, Saturday Night, and I Saw the TV Glow. Now, you can always find these on my 2024 list, which is right here, and we can also look at the stats on this one. So, let's check this out real fast. So, 2024, on the list, there's some of these that premiered at festivals in 2023, so that's why they're on the list, and same thing with 2022, but most of these premiered in 2024, obviously. So, yep, we have all of these. 2023, like I said, a bunch of movies that premiered at festivals. So movies like Late Night with the Devil, Strange Darling, The Bike Riders, Boy Kills World, Kill. I know this one was at Fantastic Fest, I believe. Boy Kills World was Sundance, maybe? No, it wasn't Sundance. I don't remember what it was. Bike Riders was, I believe, London Film Festival. Strange Darling was Fantastic Fest as well. And I think this was Chicago Film Festival for Late Night with the Devil. Hitman, I am not sure why that would have been 2023. Last Stop in Yuma County, I believe, was also Fantastic Fest. But yeah, most of these do make quite a bit of sense. And then 2022, I'm not sure the story about 1992, because this one, as far as I know of, was 2024 released. Hundreds of Beavers, I know this one was just like a very small limited release in 2022, and then got picked up for digital streaming and whatnot. And Out of Darkness, I believe, was initially at a Fantastic Fest screening, and then got picked up just this year by Paramount, or I don't remember what studio picked it up exactly, but it is on Paramount Plus. That's how I watched it. So yeah, genres and countries and languages we have here. So the most films I watched were comedies. So that's, that sounds about right. Action and thrillers are tied at 70 films. Horror at 65. Drama at 65 as well. Sci-fi 43. Crime 30 films. Adventure 29 films. Romance 26 films. And animation 21 films. And then obviously, the number one country I watched movies from was the USA. UK is 29 films, Canada, France, Germany, Japan, India, Australia, Ireland, and Spain. So a pretty decent variety of different countries, honestly. Most films I obviously watched in English, and then French, Japanese, Spanish, Hindi, German, Korean, and Telugu. So I did watch a couple of Bollywood films, so it makes sense that Hindi and Telugu are on here. And then in terms of themes and nano-genres, we have horror, the undead, and monster classics at 41, twisted, dark, psychological thriller at 40, and terrifying, haunted, and supernatural horror. So all of these make sense because I watched a lot of horror movies this year. And then superheroes and action-packed battles with villains. Makes sense. Makes sense. Laugh out loud relationship entanglements. Films like Anora. I know that. But crude humor and satire also makes sense. Gory, gruesome, and slasher horror makes also a ton of sense because I watched Terrifier 3 multiple times this year. Epic heroes also makes sense. Explosive and action-packed heroes versus villains also makes sense. Gags, jokes, and slapstick humor. Yep. Scary, tense, and cliche. Yeah, there was quite a few cliche slashers this year. Fighting, cool, and killing. I know Boy Kills World and stuff like that would go in there. Gory thrills, haunted, action, epic, emotion, horror, twist, death. Makes sense. Spooky, shock, cliche. Victim, bloody, terrifying. Both of these make a lot of sense. Tense, explosive, and bullets. Action, villains, bullets. Criminal, action. Silly, witty, loves. All right. Watched and not watched. So there's a couple of these. Well, actually, no. Yeah, 100%, 27 or 227 out of 227 films I watched. Yeah, and then out of these that aren't rated, there's like 9 of these because I have some in my list that like I have yet to rate or review. So 48% are not reviewed just because I logged them because I don't really have a whole lot of thoughts. This is kind of sad, but I have more movies that I didn't like this year than I did movies that I liked. That sucks. Owned, not owned. I don't know what this is meaning, but watch listed, yeah, none of these obviously. Rewatched, I only rewatched 15 movies from this year. And then 44% of them are not logged. That makes sense. Okay. I don't know who James Swanson is, but apparently he's my most watched actor. The First Omen, Stop Motion, The Severed Son, which is a film from Fantastic Fest, I believe, Apartment 7A, and Tarot. This guy does not have a great track record, I guess. Sam Worthington, Horizon, Lift, The Exorcism, and The Killer. Not a great track record either, I guess, Sam. Not great. Matthew Rees, Saturday Night, If, and then Watchmen. Animated movies, it's all right, I guess. Tony Hale. Oh God. Oh God. Talk about the recaster of the century here. You had him recast it as Fear and Inside Out 2, and then recast it as Megamind. Whew. Also not a great year for you, buddy. J.K. Simmons, Saturday Night, Red One, and I have yet to watch Juror number 2, actually. So, yep. Troy Baker. Watchmen, Watchmen 2, Justice League, and Crisis on Infinite Earths. Yep. I love you, Troy Baker, but you did not have great movies this year. Ariana DeBose, House of Spoils, ISS, Argyle, and Craven. Yeah, Ariana did not do a great job this year either. Let's see. Keith Ferguson, Giancarlo Esposito, Abigail Maxine Megalopolis. Yep, that makes sense. Okay, so my top directors, Jeff Wamster. Oh, because okay. I don't want to look at that right now. And then Brandon Vietti, he did the Watchmen movies. Okay, that makes sense. Right. And then crew and studios, producers, Roy Lee, Jason Blum. Yeah, I don't usually go into these that much. Yeah. High and lows. Highest average that I watched was Dune Part 2. Lowest averaged was Megamind vs. the Doom Syndicate on my list. Most obscure is this movie called Binary that I watched through like it was an online thing on Fantastic Fest. It's kind of like an Indian horror movie. It's kind of weird. Most popular is Dune 2, obviously. Longest was Horizon. Hundreds of Beavers is the oldest. Homestead. This is a pretty interesting movie, actually. I recommend. Yeah. World Map. I already went through the countries that I watched from. Highly rated with friends. Dune. Hundreds of Beavers. Challengers. The Substance. Yeah, these all make a ton of sense. And that is the 2024 list. of movies. So then, in terms of just like the entire year of what I watched, so this is just the 2024 list. And so I have yet 2 weeks to finish for this well, kind of, sort of. So, uh, 2 weeks to fully, get through films for this, I guess. But the week that I watched the most films was January 29th through February 1st, where I watched 18 films. What did I watch? Okay, Jawan, Solar. Okay, yeah, this is when I was like catching up on 2023 movies still. So Jawan, Solar, Bottoms, The Northman I rewatched, The Crow I rewatched, Dark Harvest, Leo, The Man in the Iron Mask I watched in class, Kick-Ass, The Warriors, Animal, Roadhouse watched for the first time, No Hard Feelings rewatched, Doctor Strangelove watched for the first time, Argyle I saw in the theaters, rewatched John Wick, rewatched Aquaman The Lost Kingdom, and then watched Orion in the Dark. Okay, that's pretty cool. Second most I watched was 16 films. The 9th through the 15th, I think it said. Yeah. So Cuckoo, rewatched, or no. This is my review for the game of The Last of Us, because I played through the game. So I yeah, they have some things on here that's like documentaries that I just like put as like the games or like TV shows or something like that. And yeah, this is my review for the game of The Last of Us, and I also have it logged for the TV show, I believe, at some point. I've seen the TV show and watched it way before playing the game. Yeah. 1%er was a Japanese action movie, I believe. Humane, The Watchers, Harold and the Purple Crayon, Saving Bikini Bottom, terrible movie. Beverly Hills Cop, Axel F. It was alright. Stop Motion, New Life, Exuma, Smile, Natural Born Killers, Friday the 13th I rewatched, Speak No Evil I saw in theaters, and then I also saw Blazing Saddles in theaters when they did the re-release for it. And then this is the third most, I believe. No. Maybe? Week 1. Yeah, week 1 I did watch a lot. I just remember that. So I rewatched Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning, Perks of Being a Wallflower, and then I watched Election for the second time, but I think it was like my first time all the way through watching it. Something like that. The Holdovers I rewatched. Let the Right One In I watched. Snowpiercer and Dread I watched in the same day. Those movies are so good. Freaky Friday, Strange Days, The Iron Claw I watched in the theater and I loved it. The Lighthouse rewatched. Oppenheimer rewatched. Ferrari watched in the theater. Old Boy watched for the first time. Empire Records watched for the first time. And Good Boys watched for the first time. And I think that was the first week of the year. So that was, quite a bit. And then May 5th and April 29th. Okay, so nothing too intriguing out of here. Fall Guy. That's like really the only big new release that I watched. Okay. So that's by the weekly ones. Films logged 478 films logged. 39.8 average per month, 9.4 average per week, and I watched 68 films on a Monday, 75 films on a Tuesday, 71 films on a Wednesday, 71 films on Thursday. Friday was only at 55. 69 films on Saturday, 69 films on Sunday. Okay, so first film I saw of the year was Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning. Makes sense because that was the first movie I watched all year. Pathan was my 50th film. Cobweb was my 100th film that I rewatched. Rewatched VHS 85. Rewatched Monsters Inc. Rewatched Aliens. My last film that I have so far, because I'm filming this way out in advance, is Mufasa. Deadpool and Wolverine. rewatched or watched as my 300th. I believe this was my first time watch. Yeah, I believe so. Yeah, it would make sense. Yeah, July 25th. Yep. Kinds of Kindness, my 350th. 400th was Smile 2, and my 450th was my rewatch of Gladiator 2 in the theater. My most watched, Deadpool and Wolverine. Makes sense because I saw this quite a few times in theaters. Big Lebowski, I watched this like 4 times within a week. I kid you not. Candyman, yep. Longlegs, I actually saw 5 times, 4 times in theaters because the week I started working was the week after Longlegs had come out. So at my theater, the week I started working at my theater was when Longlegs was out. So Abigail, I've seen 3 times. Rebel Moon Part 2, I've only seen twice technically because I've seen the PG-13 cut and the director's cut, and I think I just re-reviewed it or something like that. Roadhouse makes sense because I watched 3 times within the same week. Never Let Go, I watched twice. Okay. Everything I watched in 2024. Every non-2024 release first time watch. Okay, so this is first time watches of the year. So my favorite was Iron Claw. I adored the Iron Claw. Paris, Texas is a film that pretty much every filmmaker in like those letterbox like top 4 videos always says Paris, Texas, and I've always been intrigued to watch it just to see what it was about, and it was so good. I loved Paris, Texas. Dead Poets Society, amazing movie. Blazing Saddles, another freaking hilarious but such a vile movie, honestly. It's like such a dated humor, but it makes it so funny. It makes it so funny. Speaking of Westerns, Good, the Bad, the Ugly, I watched for the first time this year. Great film. Old Boy, amazing movie. Love Old Boy. Dread, this is a film that I started watching a while ago, and then I didn't finish it, and then I finally watched it all the way through, and I loved this movie. La Haine, another film that like one of those like letterbox top 4 videos, like they always say La Haine, Old Boy, in Paris, Texas. It's like always one of those 3 is always on there. And then Nosferatu the Vampire. This is a shock because I was watching the Nosferatu adaptations for the first time, just gearing up for the Robert Eggers film, which I still have yet to watch. So, yeah. I was gearing up for that, and I watched Nosferatu the Vampire, the 1979 movie, directed by Werner Herzog. This movie is incredible. I love it so much. Yeah, fantastic movie. And Snowpiercer, I talked about earlier. It's a great, great movie. 500 Days of Summer, watched for the first time as well. Love that movie. And then I did a rewatch of Phantasm for the first time ever. And I love that movie because I met Don Coscarelli, got me in the mood to watch those movies. So I watched the first one and then rewatched the first one for the first time in years, and then watched all the rest of the films. And 2 was by far my favorite. The Others, great film. The Fly, I couldn't believe it took me so long to watch the David Cronenberg Fly film. So good. Target's one of the best thrillers I've ever seen. Cure, this is one of those films that like where a lot of American cinema is inspired by outside countries. Cure was inspired by movies like Seven and Silence of the Lambs, and it's fantastic. Love that film. T2 Trainspotting 2, whatever you want to call it. Great, great film. Bottoms, love this movie. It is absolutely hilarious. And then the 2 Crank movies. They're great. And then my most watched genre was thriller, and then horror right underneath it. And obviously, USA movies right there. UK, 72 films. Germany, France, Canada, Australia, India, Spain, Italy, Japan. And then, yeah. Let's look at highest rated. War is my highest rated with 4.11. That's not bad. What do we got here in terms of war movies? Rebel Moon. Okay. Dunkirk. War for the Planet of the Apes, Ungentlemanly Warfare, Civil War, Overlord, Land of Bad, Tropic Thunder, Doctor Strangelove. So yeah, the only one I don't really like out of the bunch is Land of Bad. So that makes sense. That makes sense. Highest rated, go back to that mystery of 4.02. 4.00 is Western. Drama 3.95. Crime. Romance, TV, movie, comedy, thriller, and horror. Okay. Germany had a 4.16. What do we got? September 5th. Okay, that kind of makes sense. You know, How the Grinch Stole Christmas. I don't get that. Nosferatu the Vampire and Nosferatu, those are both German films. Cuckoo, yep, that takes place in Germany. The Crow, I have no clue. Paris, Texas, I have no clue. AVP, I have no clue. Yeah, these don't make a whole lot of sense for German films. Yeah, I have no clue how that relates to Germany. Produced by Germany. Okay, so yeah, so like some of it like takes place in Germany, maybe, or something like that. I don't really know. Okay, go back way up here. Okay, and then yeah, we already went through these. Okay. Let's see. Themes and nano genres. The horror, the undead, and monster classics was my number one. Yeah. Yep, that makes sense because I guess I watched a lot of horror. Let's see then. 2024 premieres and older. Most that I watched were older films, I guess. Okay. Watches and rewatches. A lot of rewatches. That makes sense. 3.1% are not reviewed. Okay. Yep, 38 from taken out of the watch list. That's good. Okay. Jason Statham. I ended up watching a lot of Jason Statham movies, so this makes quite a bit of sense. Yeah, I watched Crank a little bit too much. Don't want to look at that yet. George Miller. Okay. Seth Rogen. Yep, that makes sense for Seth Rogen. Willem Dafoe, Jack Black. Yeah, these all make quite a bit of sense. Don Coscarelli, obviously, you know, the Phantasm movies I watched, so that makes a lot of sense. George Miller, I rewatched all the Mad Max movies. Ridley Scott. What did I watch this year from him? Gladiator 2, Alien Covenant, Alien. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Yep. David Gordon Green, I rewatched his Halloween trilogy, so that makes sense. Scott Derrickson, I watched Exorcism of Emily Rose, and then Sinister, and I don't remember what the other one was. VHS 85. Okay. That makes sense. Yes. That makes lots of sense. John Krasinski, yeah, I watched If and the 2 Quiet Place movies again. Ty West, I rewatched the X trilogy, or watched Maxine for the first time and rewatched the other 2 movies. Michael Bay, I was watching the Bad Boys movies again, I think, or something like that. And then also watched Pain and Gain for the first time. And I think there was another one? No, just Bad Boys. Okay, yeah, Bad Boys 1 and 2 and Pain and Gain. Okay. Yeah, that adds up. Matt Reeves, that makes sense because I rewatched the Apes trilogy. David Fincher, I rewatched Fight Club 7 and Alien 3. Oof. Sorry, David Fincher. Let's see. Okay, crew and studio. Again, I don't really look at this. And then my most liked review was The Fall Guy with 27 likes. Nice. Okay, most liked list was my 2024 list. Okay, highs and lows. highest average that I watched was for Stop Making Sense, which is the Talking Heads film, the concert film. Makes sense. Lowest average was 1.1 with Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey. That's wild. I mean, it's not a good movie by any means, but most popular, Fight Club. I know this has like 4 million watched on here. Most obscure, Beneath Her Skin. My buddy, Alex Negretti Films, he made this short film. It's an awesome film. Check it out. Newest, Sonic 3. Duh. Oldest was Nosferatu from 1922. Longest, this isn't even a movie. And shortest was 2 minutes with Thingu, which is a short film readaptation of Pingu in The Thing. So it's awesome. Rated higher than average. I love Friday the 13th, the remake. Yeah, I think it's awesome. Rebel Moon, this is for the director's cut of part 1. And then director's cut of part 2. Terrifier 2 makes sense. I unabashedly love Terrifier 2. Late Night with the Devil, I don't have rated as a 5. And then Longlegs, does that go down to a 3.3? Oh, 3.4 still. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I don't know how that's really rated higher than the average, but okay. Chainsaws Were Singing. This was a film that I saw through Fantastic Fest. Yeah, and also I didn't like Wicked at all. I'm sorry. Yeah. Star Wars The Last Jedi. Yeah, I don't even know how it has a 3.0 average on here. Alien 3. Yep, that makes sense. Alien Resurrection. Yep. I don't know how that's supposedly lower than average because most people give that a 0.5. Movies watched. Oh, yeah, all of them. The World Map, we already saw. Highest rated films I have yet to see. I need to watch Sing Sing and Memoir of a Snail. Those are the two that I really want to watch. Highest rated with your friends. You can look at that. And that's actually it for 2024. So, thank you guys for checking this out with me. I thought this was a really fun idea, actually. I know a lot of people end up doing this. I think it's just a cool idea to go through all of these because usually I don't end up going through a lot of my my stats for other years. So this was kind of cool just to look through this one. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed looking through these ones, and let me know what your your stats looked like for Letterboxd down below in the comment section. What was your highest rated movie of the year? What was your lowest rated movie of the year? And all that stuff in between. And I will see you guys next time. Peace.